Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday night. Thank you for watching Arcades Anonymous, Arcade Nerds United. I hope everybody's having a fantastic evening. My co-host, Chaotic, thank you for joining, buddy. I appreciate you, as always.
Pleasure to be here.
Special guest, GIJOEL, covering for Multicade Matt, who is somewhere in Disneyland, I think, at this point. I hope at least he is. Let's see. I think he might have put something
He's down in the
chat
chat,
here.
actually.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's see. Good evening. I wanted to say a quick howdy from Disneyland. Thank you, Joel, for having my back. Awesome.
I can't say I'll be as good as Matt, but I'm at least a warm body to fill in.
We were hoping he was going to do at least a live from Diagon Alley, but I guess that's not going to happen. So, gentlemen, how was y'all's weekend?
Busy as always, man.
Busy as always. How about you, GIJOEL?
Oh, about the same. Busy. Yeah, as everybody can see that watched Dan's show last week. Unfortunately, the off-road cab has not moved since his show. It's been so busy here. So doing yard work, lawn work, chores around the house, the adulting stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Bad guy Mike is in the chat. Toxin's here. Yeah. Toxin got his KI build. If you saw on the Discord, that was pretty cool to see that. That was awesome to see that he got that. And I think I saw P-Dubs actually picked up his as well. So I'm glad those guys were able to get that.
What about you,
well.
Todd? How was your
Todd, what's behind your head, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. The iArcade showed up tonight, and I did the speed build of a lifetime. You will not believe how fast I put that thing together. Less than like an hour and a half. I was rushing to get it done. My wife was calling and saying, "What are you doing?" And I'm said, "I'm not doing anything at all."
I can't wait to get mine.
Don't tell my wife that I have it, unless she's watching. And I love you. And yeah, that's part of the.
It's been there. That's always been there.
I think she knows.
She probably knows. Yeah, no doubt. Oh, yeah, man. I got this built. I am looking forward to. I just was able to get it set up and all that, so I haven't played any games on it yet. I know Chaotic's got his coming. When is it saying? Tuesday or? Tuesday?
I didn't get a shipping notice yet. It hasn't even shipped yet.
Yeah.
John's still packing it up.
John is still putting it together. Yeah,
they're CNCing all my boards right now.
Well, like I was telling you,
that would be if somebody ordered one from me.
Yeah,
I wish John had signed it. That would have been nice. If you're watching, John, can you send me a little plate to put on it with just your No, I think you're gonna love this Chaotic. When it gets here, you are gonna fall in love with this thing. And I could tell you already, like all the mods I want to do. When Glenn's new God, I can't even talk. When that comes in, can't wait to put that in so I can do light guns and all this other things, the gate restrictors part of it, right? I'm just looking forward to all the mods that I can do on this thing. So I'm looking really forward to it. It's a nice built machine. I was really, really impressed.
Yeah, it's nice to see Glenn working with iArcade so that he can possibly breathe more life into it, right? Breathe more life into that community. Because, things have been kind of slowing down. New games are coming out, but nothing else. The Sending Light Guns just now came out for the gold edition, but he's brought more. He's breathed a bunch of life into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think people got to remember too. They're small companies. I mean, even Arcade 1-Up is a small company in the grand scheme of things, but iArcade's even smaller yet out of them all. And, it's just a small bunch of guys and they keep plugging along and rolling stuff out. It takes some time. So,
and you can also tell, as a company, they are really passionate about what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. You could see it in everything that was in this. Like when you open this thing, it is prestigiously packed. It's labeled right. It's the hardware's quality stuff. I'm just really, really impressed with the overall. And then, just the fact that it came the way it did, just really, really impressed with it.
They even give you corner protectors to keep the
Yeah,
little guys from
I
bumping
didn't
their
install
heads.
them yet, but I have those in the box. And then, of course, they gave you the things that they want you to put to the wall so it doesn't fall on you, which I don't think there's anybody in the whole community that uses those. I don't think there's one person that does. Oh, multi-cade mats. Looks like he's wanting, I think Stupid Fat Hobbit's wanting a Tron cab, which I would agree with him. If it was 150, I would do something. Brooklyn's in the house. Appreciate you joining, buddy. You see, I've got a iArcade now. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk more. I can't wait to talk more Brooklyn about iArcade now.
Yeah, I think we need to corner him when we go to Cleveland. Really do.
Hopefully, everything before Cleveland.
Well, heck, that too, but
when we get our iArcades, all of us, we just invite them to the show. I mean,
yeah,
for sure. Brooklyn, if you're listening too, we're working on trying to put together Sunday Fun Day with some of the iArcades too to do take advantage of the voice chat and stuff in the Discord and do some little mini games and tournaments or something.
Yeah, I really can't
wait. Definitely. I think that the Discord would definitely be the nice tool to use that for sure. And I'd love to play some games with you guys and really test the limits of this system.
And as I voted, I think we should use the Killer Instinct voice channel for all things iArcade.
Yep, there you go. I think
Joel, I'll give you a virtual high five.
High five.
Thanks.
Oh, well, gents, let's get this started. Tonight's topic is what's going to be the next big release. And I think that there's been a lot of speculation from a lot of different groups, a lot of different people out there of what they think is going to be the next big home arcade release. So I kind of wanted to break it down. And we kind of talked a little bit. Well, let's go back into iArcade. So a couple questions I want to throw my panelists here. We talked a little bit about how these are not big super companies. They're not, they're not PlayStation. They're not Xbox. They're not Nintendo. They're not, they don't have the resources that a lot of other people do. But there's ways that they come out with revenue streams, and all of them are different. So we can't just classify them all in the same category, but we can talk a little bit about what we think they are going to do in the coming year, going into 2024. But I think, we're right here in the dead smack of the year. And, Christmas time is coming. I know at work, I've already received Christmas stuff. So they've got to be like plans of like what's going to be coming soon. So the questions that I want to pose you guys for iArcade, what do you think they're going to be doing next? Do you think that new models are coming? Or do you think that, even though they haven't said it, how are they going to continue to do that revenue stream? And we know that they do the software, but what do you think in your opinion? Joel, what do you think?
That's a tricky one. But whatever I say, a bunch of people are going to hate me for it, or
Well, but this is a loving community, and we all have our opinions. So I would love to.
I think I think they have the most potential right now as far as growth and opportunity. iArcade, they unfortunately somehow they found themselves in a situation that's been unfortunate for them, where they just can't seem to do anything right, regardless of every time they achieve what they say they're going to do. It's still the next week, everybody's complaining about something, so it seems like they can never quite do enough, which is unfortunate, because you talk to everybody and like you said, putting that was a great experience, putting that thing together, and everybody, I don't think too many people will argue that these machines, that they're a high quality, they have very good hardware in them. And that, that was what Jung was tasked to do, was to put together this great machine. So he did that, check, right? you can only do so much as far as getting licenses and getting other people to sign on board. So that's been kind of this ongoing struggle for them. And I think they have an interesting path ahead of them. And we could see some really cool stuff from them, I think. You know, we've constantly heard him say that, you know, he's a software company. They're not a hardware company. Yeah. They're the smallest company out of the group. So trying to balance being a hardware company and a software company at the same time has probably been an extreme challenge. Yep. So I think, you know, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like, you know, they might be kind of shifting those responsibilities to another party to kind of handle the hardware, and putting their focus, they've said, in other places. Where that would be, I'm guessing, has got to be in the software, because that's where they said they, you know, are gonna play. So I think that split might be kind of interesting, because you'll get a nice focus from somebody, you know, possibly Glenn. You know, Glenn's looking to expand. Young and iArcade's looking to kind of diverge a little bit and take, you know, he's already helping them out with this. You know, he's got a deck. Maybe he's gonna, you know, he can start he's already got the streams in place to bring those parts over here to distribute them. He's got the storefront. You know, he starts putting screens and processors and stuff, you know, with his deck, and all of a sudden, you know, he's got a full-blown console, and you got the iArcade that's focused on their store. And hopefully they start focusing on, you know, they really, I was telling you guys backstage, I think they really need to focus on their UI to make that a better experience for people. But most importantly, I think the online connecting, the lobbies and things like that, that brings their whole ecosystem back together to make everything stronger. Their past games, their future games. Right. And then the key thing, I think, is getting those two things in place, and then being able to focus on software development, because that's what makes, you know, the Switch different from the Xbox, and the PlayStation different from the Switch, is those unique titles. And right now they don't have those unique titles, but they don't have anybody to focus on them either, because there's no reward really for those people. So I think if Jung can put together a good team that can start building, you know, it would be awesome to have some sort of like a drop-in Call of Duty, you know, type retro online shooting game, you know, or something that's just, you know, iArcade specific, that we could all just jump on, and, you know, kind of a capture the flag type game or something, you know, where we could just be jumping in and playing and battling and stuff. So if they could focus on some really cool, fun, you know, modern retro titles that really make it stand out apart from the rest, you know, I think that's really they can't keep going down this path of trying to run these ColecoVision titles and things that people can get thousands of, you know, off the internet on a flash drive and plug it into another machine. You know, if they're not going to open up their machine, that shouldn't be where they're playing anyways. And their hardware and everything is way better to run stuff way better than that anyways. So
exactly,
that's where I think we see a lot of cool stuff, hopefully, potentially, from them. Or, you know, it could be a really quiet year as well.
Yeah, you know, you don't know what direction they're going to take, but, you know, you're already out of the gold edition. You're clearancing out your Gen 1s. So, you know, what's going to push you through the rest of the year? And if we're going to do software and we're going to bring more users in, like Papa Brad was saying, you know, we need the games to do that. But not everybody owns an iArcade. And how are we going to get those people to do that is I think, the major challenge. Kaotic, you want to add anything to?
Well, between the both of y'all kind of covered pretty much everything that there is to cover about it. Like you said, there is no more golds to be sold. They're trying to sell out of the Generation 1 cabinets as much as they can. So what's coming?
And we're fortunate that we got, you know, some of us are getting, like you and I, you know, we're getting this, but what if the golds don't come back as soon as they want it to? Or what if the you know, obviously the only thing that I've heard, there's a game coming out and I forget the name of the game. They're releasing another Gen Gen 1 cab with that branding on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's that boxing game, right?
Yeah. There you go. And I think they're only going to do like 1,000 machines, so that doesn't like have a lot of or less than 1,000. So, what's going to really push them into it? And we know that they're focused on software, and if they get the really cool games, that's awesome. But what about the hardware? We need that hardware, and not everybody's going to buy. Like, I don't see myself buying another iArcade now. I have one, and it's not really going to make me want to buy something else unless it's a different form factor. So, could they go into that? Could they do some type of different form factor?
So now that they got send and gun technology, right?
Right.
What if they brought out, say, a 2 send and gun light gun cabinet with House of Dead artwork?
Okay.
Would that make you want to buy it?
I don't know. That's a tough call.
You already have this. You already had the send and gun light guns with it.
Yeah.
19
that would be a package deal that they would have to work out, licensing and all that.
Yeah. But you would have to think something like that would be coming.
If it's a dedicated shooter, if we're going to say, okay, here's what we're going to do, iArcade fans, we're going to give you a dedicated shooter, and that's really, I mean, you can go and play other games on it, but this one was designed just to be a shooter. They'd have to really make it worth your while to even pick it up, because now you can do everything with the versatility of the regular iArcade.
I mean, I still would say put the regular joystick, control panel on there, but also have the guns on the side already installed with that House of Dead artwork.
There's been a lot of talk in the community about iArcade becoming, the go-to for light guns, and which, is a possibility, but, I don't think that should be, in my personal opinion, I don't think that, is the winning path for them either. I think, the unique path, they really need to focus on, rolling out some unique titles that are, only to their console, that brings people in, because, even with, it's only going to be a matter of time, I think, until another, or until, At Games, has had the, what is it, the AimTrack or whatever. That's going to continue to get refined. Batacera is going to continue to get refined. So there's only so long that they're going to be able to hold on to this, the Sinden and the light gun and stuff that's making them unique. And, they're not going to open up the cab to let you put anything on there that you want. And are they going to be able to roll out those titles to keep people happy? I think it's the new unique stuff, and I see, Papa Brad's right. They have 350 games, and a lot of those are great games. And, people, even for the price of the gold, is almost, what people are paying, for some of these, you're getting up there almost into Fast and the Furious price, where you're getting only 2 games on it, and that's all you're ever going to get, but people are happy and love it. People buy the iArcade and then are mad when they're not getting enough games, coming. Even though, you should be happy with what it has on it right now. Don't buy it thinking that it's going to get something better, because we don't know what that is.
So let me pose a question. I didn't know. Did you finish your thought there? I'm sorry.
No, Joe. I was just rambling. Just trying to fill the hour.
So let me pose a question to you. Okay. I think all of us deal with space issues. I think we really do.
Mm-hmm.
If iArcade came out with a countercade, something small, could do the same things that the big one can do, except maybe not the light gun thing, would you buy an iArcade countercade? Chaotic? I know that's not your jam, but if it was an option.
If it was an option, I mean, I would consider it, but it's kind of really not my thing. I love the 3/4 scales. If I was to run out of room, I would determine what needed to go for what needed to come in.
And I respect you for that, because the 3/4 scale is what majority of us love. But there's people out there, if you want to get more users in,
Yeah,
you got to open up because that I think that, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about our arcade, but iArcade or not iArcade, Arcade 1UP. But you got to have those multiple form factors. What do you think, GIJOEL? Do you think somebody would want that, or do you think they would be like, I don't want that?
You know, honestly, you're talking to kind of the right person. I don't have any besides the Star Wars pinball table. That's the only 3/4 Arcade 1UP that I own. All the others are countercades that I own. So, you know, you would think that I would be the key core, person that would be signing up to, but I don't think that would interest me. If I want an iArcade, I want it for the full arcade experience, that full size. I want a full multi-cade that's going to play multiple games. The countercades are kind of a little bit more for eye candy in the game room. I think they're cool.
I can see that.
They're kind of shelf pieces. My boy and I play them a lot. They're easy to go to for people with, with the pedestals and stuff to quickly go and play a quick game, shoulder to shoulder. But, it's not a long time or a long-term game that I want to stand in front of and play for hours like I would, the iArcade.
Fair enough. I just think that if you're going to open it up to users and maybe they'll come up with something else that's off the wall that makes sense, that people can go that aren't into the 3/4, but they still want to add to the users. I think that there's tons of different options that they have out there. And I think that they could expand that if they really wanted to. But, if it works, then I guess we need to come out with a gold edition wave 2, because that's the only way you're going to continue to build the user base. And if it's a different manufacturer than them, then you got to worry about the quality control and all that. So
I think that, where that partnership with Glenn could be continuing to roll that out with backwards compatibility and everything, it may be a very good path forward for them.
Yeah, our good friend Sock Jock, isn't the iArcade technically a countercade? I mean, it is a bar top. You could have it in a bar top. I wouldn't be opposed to putting it on a bar or having something. The stand is nice and it's definitely a good one, but I don't know.
Do the golds come in 2 sections?
I don't think they do come in 2 sections, but I don't think you can buy them like you could in Gen 1s.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen them for sale like that. I never paid attention of whether or not they were split.
And I kind of noticed, I don't know, with me recently buying one, I noticed that a lot of things that were on the website, that were not visible were visible, and they kept saying sold out. So, I don't know if maybe they have a different wave coming in and that's something, but the golds did come in 2 boxes.
Papa Brad says it does. Yeah, just 2 sections. So it's the same. Yeah, it could be a bar top if you wanted it to be.
But I don't think that iArcade really has, if they focus on the software, they're going to have to continue doing the hardware in some way, shape, or form to get more users in, because that's the only way that they're going to sell that software. You can't go to, technically you can't go to your phone and play it on your phone. How are you going to get more users in? And the software is great, but I need the hardware to do it. So hopefully they can keep figuring out what they want to do. So, all right, let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's talk about AtGames. So AtGames has continued to release products and software. They're really the number 2 in the game of home arcade, as far as my opinion, because they have the best of both worlds. They have the software, and then they have the hardware too, in multiple ways to get it. So my question, and we'll start out with Chaotic, buddy. What do you think AtGames is going to do this year or going into next year? What do you think that their path to success will be?
Well, I mean, you got the 4K cabinet coming out, right?
Yeah, we know that's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are you going to do to build off of that? See, I don't really know too much about AtGames, other than the fact that they got coin ops, bring your own games, and stuff like that. So really they've got all their bases covered, right? It's for the person who wants to tinker and build their own library, and then you also got the people that it already has a massive library built onto it.
Yeah.
You know, I guess what online play would be something that they could work on
for sure.
You know, to bring the community more together instead of just everybody just having one. You know, do they even have online leaderboards?
On some games they do. On the pinball they do.
Right. Okay.
And I think majority of it, you know, their arcade net, you know, is definitely by the community a kind of a flop. Even as they continue to add more games, I think that they continue to not view that as most of the community doesn't usually do it. So
right. So you got something like IR Arcade has, where it's like buy a game or you know buy sets of games. Where At Games has, they just have that monthly fee.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of see where people like to choose their own thing instead of just having a monthly fee and all that kind of thing. So I see that's where now I see why that would flop.
Yeah.
But you know, in order to me for them to build is you got this great, beautiful cabinet coming, and the software and the hardware built into it. It sounds amazing. So what are you going to do to improve on that? They need to do something with, say, like online play, connectivity between other people and their cabinets and stuff like that. That's where I think they should go.
Yeah,
I'd agree with you on the big, beautiful cabinet coming as far as hardware goes, but as far as look, that's one of the most ugly, you know, cabinets.
Oh,
yeah.
That's an area
we can argue about,
you know. They could definitely look at improving, you know, the overall look of their cab. You know, whether it, I can understand they don't get, you know, maybe the licensing for certain skins and stuff, but you know, they could dress it up some way, you know, to make it a little less bland.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to mod it when you buy it, and you know, I know that there's products out there we have to mod when we buy it, but you know, At Games has never had really good success on having a beautiful product right out the gate, and now
they're suffering a little bit in the same way as iArcade. I mean, their online experience isn't that great. Their user interface is, you know, kind of horrendous if you don't go into coin ops. You know, it's buggy,
and I mean, I haven't gone that path. The Legends Ultimate that I have, I've just stuck with the games that are on it. I haven't.
Yeah.
And I'm probably missing a lot.
Night and day difference if you go to coin ops. I mean, it's a way beautiful, more beautiful interface. Flows better. Yeah.
To me, the biggest advantage At Games has is with the Legends Mini, with the turning the screen, flipping it vertical.
Yeah.
That to me was a game changer.
No doubt.
Why couldn't they do that with all their cabinets?
And you know, they should have seen the feedback from the community and said maybe we should do that going forward. But I don't think the 4Ks are going to do that. I think they're going to be just the standard as we've done with just the 4K screen. But my question is okay, you have a 4K screen coming out. I get it on pinball. Don't need to talk about pinball because that screen is going to be beautiful for the pinball that people bring. But when you talk about the regular Legends Ultimate, the games that are on it, or maybe an arcade net, or
you don't want to see Aladdin in 4K.
Yeah. Do I really need to see that in 4K? I don't. What are you going to bring to the table unless I have to bring my own games? So I think that the software side of it needs to be looked at as well. You know, what games can we bring on that our chipsets can handle that are more powerful and more graphically beautiful than what we have now? So that's kind of what I'm seeing with them is what can they add to us, the consumer, to make it say, okay, I'm going to pick up another 4K, you know.
It'll be interesting, especially with, you know, what the talk of, you know, their chipset and everything, that it's supposed to be pretty impressive, but, you know, to think, you know, that they're going to be rolling out some of these, you know, even Nintendo Switch-like games, you know, how are they going to roll those out? You know, we don't see anything like that with them right now. So
And I
think
it's
interesting to think they're going to have this powerful machine. Is it mostly just focused towards the pinball, which I can understand, for running? Are they rolling this out mostly because they're putting all their effort into the pinball? And if so, I'd love to see, some more effort in the pinball, up in some better haptics and stuff. I think, that's one of the things I really like about the Star Wars pinball was the real solenoids and stuff that are going in it. And so it'd be nice if they could, if they roll out a few other things, along with that, besides just the 4K screen, but, and maybe even, get in partnership with Zen and on some tables and stuff, to actually have some good, digital virtual pinball experience going on with that table.
And you don't hear a lot of partnerships with at games. You hear, they got, IP of Dr. Seuss and some of the great pinball tables. That's great. But as far as like some of the other games, I know that Arcade 1UP has swooped in and grabbed a large amount of them. But, you don't see a lot of good games. And Papa Brad makes a point about the gaming PC. They could have, done a little bit better. Why not go out to these third-party companies that are gaming PC and say, hey, we want games, on our Legends Ultimate that our hardware can handle that will look stunning on this 4K screen. That's what I want to, if that's what they're going to do, then maybe they should focus more on the software, because you've given us a Mini. You've given us the regular Legends Ultimate. You've given us a pinball machine. You've given us a micro pinball machine. You've given us the pucks to do whatever we want to do with, whether put it on a TV or put it in a machine that we want to put it in, just so we can access all of that. You've got all the bases covered. The only thing you haven't added is a cocktail table or, even something like a handheld, which they talked about as well, if my memory serves me right from the last nod.
Yeah.
So, you've got the hardware side of it. Let's focus on the software side of it so that somebody like me who loves to plug and play, I just want something that I go up and play, but you're not really serving me there. I have to bring everything that I want to play on the machine because the screen's great and the controls are fair, but I have to bring it and build it myself versus you providing it for me.
Yeah. And there's already a lot of handheld options available out there.
Yeah, they're going into a market that I know.
Do we really want that experience on a handheld? And if you do,
you already have a lot of choices. You already have Avercade, or you already have
Ambernick is making a great
and
a bunch of different stuff.
I haven't looked into the Steam Deck or any of those, but there's tons of options for handhelds. So are we really going to make a Legends gaming family from a handheld to a 20-inch machine, but yet not have the software to back it up?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my concern for them. But what else could they come out with hardware?
Yeah, and they're going to have a beautiful pinball machine. But I think, virtual pinball, one of the beauties of it is being able to, bring it into the modern century of, not just replicating and making a beautiful looking, 80s, 90s pinball table, but to be able to bring in some of that interaction that you wouldn't get on a physical machine. Otherwise, I'll go play the physical machines too.
There you go.
But they're a little out of my price range too. But
but the thing that I like about them too is that you can go and buy those games, like the packs. You can go buy the pinball packs how you want them. If you catch one of their sales, you're getting a ton of games for great value on your machine. Yeah. And I wish that they would just their software idea is good. They have their revenue coming in from the software when they release these tables, but we're not seeing that same thing with the ALU. So I don't know if is it taking a back seat because pinball is such a success? They want to own pinball let's own pinball, and ALU and the Mini get, back seat.
Yeah, good points.
Yeah. I think that, but like I said, there's other. Is there going to continue to span the hardware? Then we're, are we talking contact tables? Are we talking? Heck, we don't even have really a countercade from At Games. I mean, we have a mini pinball, but they didn't go and say, let's make a mini Legends. They really haven't done that.
They could make maybe like a digital board game.
Yeah, I mean,
like some sort of computer tablet thing that has all kinds of board games on it.
Yeah, like the Infinity table, they could compete with that. Yeah. Because if anybody could beat Arcade 1-Up in the Infinity table, I would think it would be At Games. It would just be getting they have to really spearhead it.
Put a battery in it, and it's already way better.
It's already 10 times better, right? Yeah. We never heard a lot about the Racer. The Racer was canceled. It's not canceled. We're still in development. We don't know what's going on. I looked at the Racer, but it was the same thing. I'm going to have to bring my games. You're not going to provide me with something that's really awesome software-wise. You're bringing me something that's hardware fantastic, but I need something, something that's actually software-worthy.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, they explored the light gun path too a while back. They were going to roll out their own.
They should have gone full force with that. Yeah. And I get that they had parts issues and all that, but I was looking forward to saying, "My God, I can have a light gun on my LAU," and it went up in smoke. And are we going to talk about getting it? Obviously, if Matt was here, he would say, "Let's just build. We can build our own," and I would agree with that, but.
I'm already on it.
Yeah, they should have gotten first party light guns working. Yeah. And it just didn't happen. And I feel like that they're successful, that they're going to continue to make more product because we're continuing to buy the software that they do come out with when it comes to pinball. But, I don't think that we're going to see a ton of hardware from them anytime soon. Versus some of the other companies that really need to be providing hardware.
I mean, they're doing a good job kind of flying under the radar, and they're selling well. They have a decent product. It's not.
The next nod, I'm going to pick up as much software as I can because, that's the times to do it. And they know that we know that. I mean, they're fully aware. That's why they make it such a good price because they know they're going to stick the heck out of it. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, let's switch to the last one, Arcade 1-Up. So Arcade 1-Up has always been, let's sell you hardware, because we want the nostalgia of having a cab with a couple of games on it. These aren't multicades. These are game particular machines. And these are dedicated to whatever we want. But here's the thing with Arcade 1-Up, and I think both of you would agree with me. It's about selling the cab. It's not about software. It's not about all the other things that would go with it. Engineered great. It's about selling the cab. When they hit, what really shocked me was when they said they hit 5 million or 3 million cabs at some point. I don't remember the actual number. Somebody can quote me. That's their benchmark. We want to sell the numbers. We want to sell the cabs. It's not about the other things. But for a company that wants to sell you cabs, they're not putting a lot out. We had the Deluxe this spring. We had the Fast and Furious that recently came out. But that's it. So I want y'all's opinion on what you think Arcade 1-Up will come out with next. Game Pacific or whatnot. So, Joel, take it away.
Oh, man. I was kind of hoping you'd give it to Brian first. I don't know what they're going to come out with, but I'm almost 110% sure whatever they do, they'll find a way to screw it up. In some factor, it doesn't seem like they can they can have a smooth rollout of anything. But we'll all forget about it and forgive them in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because
they continue to sing their praises and buy the next thing that's coming out, because that seems to be the hand that they've been dealt. But fortunately for them, but I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship kind of for them. I think, they do a good job of selling nostalgia. I absolutely love their pinball table. I wish that, they were in the business of, continuing to want to, sell an improved experience to us, and to listen to, user feedback, and community feedback and improve, upon. But it doesn't seem like we're going to get another pinball table from them, or any improvements to it anytime soon or anything. I think they had, that was almost, a golden goose opportunity for them, as far as having the partnership with Zen. They weren't in this mindset of we can only have 10 games and we want to sell you another cab for $700 with 10 games next to it.
Can you imagine?
Because we think you guys have these huge rooms to fit them in.
You walk in, and instead of having arcades, you got 10 or 15 of these virtual pin machines.
Yeah.
With all different labeling. I mean, it would be amazing, but not all of us can do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the challenge, I think, with them is, we only have so much room, and only so many of us, and only so many of our spouses will be okay with us having an arcade in our homes. So for some people, it's kind of limited to, I just want one piece for my man cave or something, and it has, some games that I love and it looks cool. It's a centerpiece, a talking point. And so, that's where some of them come out, but others, we can get them shoulder to shoulder and have that arcade experience as well. But as far as what, the uniqueness of racing cabs, I think is a nice thing for them. They have, the opportunity, the ability to roll out some light guns, cabs, it seems, but it sounds like, they're just going to play their same game of here's one with, here's a big buck hunter with a lit marquee now. So everybody sell yours that you don't have and buy this one, that's deluxe. Yeah. So, are we going to get 40 different versions of Big Buck like we have of Pac-Man? I don't know. It seems like they're just trying to
hope not, but at the same time, if they want to keep building their customer base, they want to put a cab in every home. In the United States, they have to find something that does that for every walk of life. And I don't think that that's their goal, because they know that there's people like us that will buy 10 or 15 of these and put them in and then just keep rotating them out and keep giving them money every time we do it. But,
I think we're actually the very small portion of their core consumer. We're not their core consumer.
No,
their core consumer
not by any means.
My in-laws who don't even know what at games or Arcade 1-Up, you could put them side by side and they don't care. It's their arcade games, home arcade video games, and I want one to put in my basement, and maybe a second one, because it has some cool games on it for the kids, grandkids, people that come over, and have some fun.
Exactly.
And, that's the majority of who they're selling these to, people that have nostalgia for Fast and the Furious, but, everybody's complaining about the gameplay being different and stuff. How many of the core consumers that are buying the Fast and Furious really played, the actual console game or the arcade game in the arcades, and remember and know the exact differences? A lot of them maybe never even put a quarter in a Fast and Furious cab.
They walked past it in the arcade, or they walked past it when they were wherever.
They're fans of the franchise. They have a family game room, that, has a mixture of different things. Then it's like, oh, that would be a cool thing to have for us to play on, and for decor. And that's the majority of their sales for, Arcade 1-Up, I think.
So, Chaotic, what do you think, buddy? What do you think that
So a lot of the community forgets to realize that Arcade 1-Up is selling toys.
Yeah,
It's a toy.
it is.
It's not
And
meant to be.
Dare I say we're man babies, but you know.
Hey, and I'm okay, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you know.
But
I am. Go ahead. I'll do my rant here in a minute.
No, go ahead. I want you to do your rant because I want to go off on it.
I'm a 39-year-old man, okay, and I work hard. I work every day to put food on the table for the kid and the wife. And if I spend $300, $400, $500 on something that I enjoy, that's for me, you know. And I know they're not real, and I know that they're toys, and I'll continue to buy them until I'm blue in the face because it brings me joy. It takes me back to the 90s and the 80s when I was a kid, and nobody else can do that. Nobody else can give me that feel. So that's my rant.
So you find a positive in the situation, right?
I always look for the positive. You know, you guys know I'm a positive guy, but the negativity of these things are crap and blah blah blah. You know, I'm not for that. I'm for this brings me joy, and I don't hinder what you do. So
exactly. So set your expectations to the reality of it.
Yeah, I know I'm buying something that you can pay $200 or $300 for sure.
Right. So basically, yes, these are toys, but this is toys that we found nostalgia for when we were kids. It's not the real thing. It's meant to look like the real thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to have SandWalk controls. It's not going to have top of the line buttons. It's not going to have that bright art marquee. It's going to be washed out. You have to set your expectations to what it is. It's meant to look and feel like the real thing, but not be the real thing. And that's kind of where like the negativity and all that kind of stuff going on, where everybody's complaining about this and complaining about that. They don't care about what we think. We're not like Joel said, we are not your core audience. We love these things as a group, and we love these things individually for what they are, but they're not selling to us anymore. We've already bought one. We've actually bought 20.
Yeah.
They want to sell. They want to sell one to the guy that walks by and says, "Holy crap!
Yeah.
I could take that home and surprise my kids with that." That's who they want to sell to.
Because there's a lot more. Those type of people outnumber all of us like 20-1. You know,
where were the 1%ers?
Yeah,
absolutely. So where does Arcade 1-Up have the advantage over the other two companies? It's available in Walmart, Best Buy, Sam's, Lowe's, Home Depot, GameStop. It's available everywhere.
And
I remember the first show I was on with you guys. You guys told me they were on Lowe's.com. I was like, they're on Lowe's.com?
Yeah.
I have a Lowe's card.
Yeah.
And I can't be alone. I'm the guy that gets on the cell phone in the morning and nothing's going on, or I'm waiting for my load to go out for delivery or whatever. And I'm scrolling through what's QVC got today? What's Home Depot got today? What, hey, I haven't been on GameStop in a couple of weeks. What's going on with those guys? I'm constantly looking at where they have product just to see what's out there, just for curiosity's sake. Because, there's always somebody in the group that says, hey, look, QVC's finally got so-and-so.
Arcade 1-Up has Killer Instinct cast.
Yeah, there you go. There's
Free
always
shipping
somebody looking. And I'm one of those people that always looks for these deals, or just to see what's out there. Is there a new product that I haven't even heard about? And, we waste time and energy and all that. But my point is that not everybody does that. It's only the 1%ers that do.
Yeah.
And they got to market it, and they do good marketing, I think. I mean, obviously they're reaching people that have never bought an Arcade 1-Up before, are buying them. They might not be selling off the shelves. Maybe their marketing needs to be better. That's a whole different discussion. But I think that for sure they're reaching people that normally wouldn't reach.
Right.
And I think we've heard them say too. I didn't hear this direct, but I've heard it repeated several times. You know, the Pac-Mans and those cabs, that the revenue that they make is what is actually being used to roll out some of these, you know, oddball, unique titles for you know us guys. You know, otherwise, if it wasn't for them rolling out, you know, that new Pac-Man, that you know, all the sales that they get from that is what they're able to kind of roll in and get those little bursts of these other ones put out there.
And Arcade 1UP hasn't abandoned us as a community. They love us. They need us. Because have either of y'all ever showed like a coworker or a friend like, hey, did you ever play this when you were a kid? Or like just scroll through like Walmart and be like, you ever been interested in something like this? Because I got one.
Joel?
Yeah, I mean, I got lots of family and stuff that I even, well, it wasn't Arcade 1UP, but my father-in-law got a at games mini because they had bought a Pac-Man Arcade 1UP and had it in their basement, and they knew that I was kind of into these and stuff, and I knew that they had mentioned, you know, that they were kind of thinking about getting another one. So around Christmas time, I was like, when Sam's Club, you know, had one of their big sales, I sent them, you know, the link, and they ordered it right away. And they were all excited too. They were like, we got one of the last ones, I think. And, but yeah, they kind of getting into it, you know, and you know, how many of us post pictures on, you know, Facebook or Instagram or, you know, Twitter or whatever, you know, of some of our, and there's people that are into these or that aren't into these, but see the pictures and oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that they made that. And, you know, that's kind of how I always wanted to build my own. And I started building my own, but it was when I came across the countercade first, you know, the TMNT countercade, and then discovered the Marvel one, and then realized that they made these bigger ones. I didn't even know that the bigger ones existed until I discovered the countercades. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. And, you know, that's, you know, nostalgic, and it would look neat in the game room and be fun to play. And, you know, at the time, I didn't even notice, you know, the shark fin and oh man, it doesn't, you know, it's not the exact replica of what was in the arcades. When it showed up, it was like, oh, this is cool. It plays, you know, I remember playing this as a kid, you know, and I got my boy in playing it, and he loved it because I introduced him to Turtles, you know, and so we had fun on it, you know, and even to this day, the shark fin doesn't bother me. The design, you know, it's not that big of a deal. The same reason I like the iArcade. I don't want all my cabinets to match side by side, and
they didn't in the arcade. So why are you trying to make them match in the, you know, there's going to be different designs.
Not a purist. I don't need it to, you know, be an exact carbon copy of what was in the arcade, you know, as long as it looks cool and is a fun experience. And, you know, that's where I'm at, I think.
Right.
You know, I shared a lot, you know, with coworkers because I was in retail management, and, you know, you always tried to teach, or not teach, but introduce yourself to new teams. And you know, that was one thing that I would say. I have so many consoles at home, and I got all these neat Arcade 1UPs in my, you know, arcade room. And it opened it up because I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never heard of these. And then, you know, they'd look them up, or they would go onto my YouTube channel and watch my my arcade tour and say, you have that in your house? Yeah. You know, that's just the kind of thing that you build on. And I think that Arcade 1UP, you know, realizes that word of mouth has helped them for sure, because there's a lot of people like us that really like spell the brand out. We're not necessarily ambassadors for them, but, you know, we're spreading what arcade is because we're probably the best marketing tool they have.
Absolutely. Because we're posting our game rooms all the time.
Yeah.
On different forms of social media. Somebody's going to ask you, hey,
what is you had those? What is that?
Yeah. What is that? Yeah. And that's honestly the best way to sell it, right? Is to see it in somebody's home. They're like, well, if he's got 20 of them, I can at least have one, you know.
You know, but Stupid Fat Hobbit makes a good point here. You know, they could make another 6 or 8 new cabs on Legacies. They could they could reskin the same thing. They did it with Joust and MK.
Mortal Kombat was it? Yeah,
Defender. They can. That's the thing. The number of SKUs could be endless. They could just pick another game and say, "This is your title game." Yeah, it comes with the same 14 games, but it has the different art on it. And that's to me, that's what they do. That's their selling point, to sell cabs every day to you. You know, a new cab might have some games you already have, but it's a new cab. It's something different. It's something new. And then either you're going to say, "Oh, I need to buy that because I want it," or you're saying, "I'm going to pass this time because I know 2 months from now you're going to come out with something even better."
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the biggest complaint now is what? Pricing, right?
Pricing is the big issue.
They've gone sky high.
And part of that is due probably to the design. I mean, look at, that shark fin design. It was very, basic. You could slap anything on it. But now we want to get specific to Midway. Or
let's talk about, because you guys know that I finally took my Ridge Racer out of the box on Sunday, and I still got to build the actual riser. But that is the first cab that I've ever built that was so complicated. Mm-hmm. It was a tough build. I've already built 20 of these. And figured that it would be the same. And here I am doing a very intricate build. And it's a quality build. I'm very happy with the Ridge Racer. But it's a totally different ballpark. And I can't imagine. I haven't gotten any of the newer cabs. So I can't say that any of the others are the same. But I can imagine that there's a lot more to them now. Obviously, they don't have risers, so they had to put more infrastructure into it.
And like honestly, the biggest problem with their pricing is us as a community. They ask us what do we want? What do we want different? Well, we want molded coin doors. We want light box marquees and not the stickers.
Yeah, good point, Chaotic. We want things and they just jack up the price because of it.
We want them to be a little bit taller. We want no risers.
Yeah.
The more we complain about the design and the aesthetics of it, the more that price is going to go up, because now they're going to be like, well, now it's got a light up coin door. I like it, but now it's $700 instead of $500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not just for that reason only, but that adds into it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can understand where the Trons and the Star Wars and the Ridge Racers, those are
very
more
unique
expensive
controls, very unique form factors.
Yeah. I mean, but they're Gen 1s and stuff with the shark fin design. You could slap whatever graphics you wanted on it, and whatever 10 games you wanted on the inside, and call it a day. And that was a different arcade experience.
Yeah.
So,
but good segue into that is we have multiple form factors. If you guys have watched 19K Fox, check them out if you haven't. But I'm sure majority of our viewers have. He's talked about they have 14 factors. They have 14 different form factors.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They keep throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that it works. 3/4 is their golden goose, if you want to say. What about the countercades? What about the partycades? What about the cocktail tables? I mean, alone that makes up a majority of their thing. But here we are in May, and we haven't had any more countercades come out, unless somebody knows of something that I don't know. Partycades seem to be missing in action.
They've been pretty quiet on all of those.
I mean, I want those to.
Are we ever going to get a new couchcade or projectorcade?
And yeah, those have died in the water, and you can pick those up on clearance in a bin somewhere. But their idea is to get, to sell you something and reach new people. And they've talked about it, getting the grandmas buying them for you and stuff like that. It's kind of, I'm just saying that they need to continue to expand. If they're going to want to buy, if they want people to buy the product, they need to keep providing those SKUs out there for them. And it seems like they've kind of just brought it back in, and we can say it's economy, or we can say whatever it is, but they need to think about covering the multi bases, because now if they come out with a Cubert tomorrow, All of us want Cubert that want Cubert. If they came out with a Cubert tomorrow and it was a 3/4 or a Partycade, I would buy the Partycade because I don't have enough room for another 3/4. There's people out there that are going to want the 3/4 and not the Partycade, but you got to cover multiple people so that you keep giving that revenue in.
What they definitely should do, though, is launch both of them at the same time, along with a Pro and a Deluxe model of Cubert at the same time.
If we're going to say this is the game, and I know that doesn't look good on paper because what if Cubert bombs? And obviously Cubert wouldn't bomb, but if Cubert bombed, I'm going to be stuck with 5,000 countercades and no 3/4 scales to sell anybody. I get that. They need to come up with that map that works for them, but I agree with you. Come out with a countercade, come out with a Partycade, come out with a 3/4 scale, let everybody get what they want, and then guess what? If the 3/4 sells out, maybe we should do another production run. If the countercades don't sell, one and done. Clearance them out, get them gone. Set a number, 3,000 or whatever, and that's it. No more.
I was joking a little bit because it didn't work out too well for him with the Killer Instinct rolling out the Pro and the Deluxe or whatever.
But I think that the other two form factors would probably be better than a Pro. You see what I'm saying?
Well, if they have success for because there was a lot of confusion of, well, what's the difference? Why am I paying more for this?
Yeah, why are you?
It doesn't have a riser.
If you have the different form factors and you're trying to get people to buy product, I think that that's the way you start is having multiple options for them, because I have to pick and choose now. I can't afford to have everything else, so I have to make a decision off what's there, and they don't release them at the same time. So, if I miss Cubert,
and you got these guys like Michael B. and that are selling off their entire collections. So
yeah, and then you have to wait for that to happen. So,
and there's probably that you see there's this kind of evolution. You got guys who started off in this, and now they're getting into the real arcades and bringing them in. There's guys that have just had enough of it, or their families expanding, and so they got to clear it out and doing something different with the house, and so yeah.
But I think that they need to continue to just move forward, and we talk about their communication, and that's a whole different show in itself. But I think that we need to just continue to, if they're going to keep doing this where they want to sell numbers and cabs, they've got to keep flowing that product out and banking on the fact that they're most likely going to sell it in some way, shape, or form. Does that make sense? Where it's like they have to.
Yeah.
Right now, the only thing that's out there is Fast and Furious. That's new, quote unquote new. That's not going to get them into Q4, and making sales. And hopefully they're going to come out with something else for the holiday season, because right now it's just dead.
Yeah. So don't they have a show coming on the 25th?
Yeah. And I think there's rumors that there's going to be a new product or a new cab or whatever being released. Do you guys watch those? Do you sit down and actually try to watch them live, or do you?
I'll wait for the replays.
I've never watched one of them live.
Yeah. It's hard to catch.
Have a hard time catching them because you never know when they're going to be, and
they seem pretty random. Yeah. And then when you try to, the unfortunate thing is that they don't really listen to the comments that are in the chat. They usually don't listen to those. So you can ask a question or you can give some feedback, and you're not really getting heard. So
it's like the guys in our chat.
We're not ignoring you guys. Oh, I know they're talking about a lot of cool stuff in there. They're talking about all the different things out there. But
I got to give these guys props that do these live shows and stuff. Dan.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to manage.
It's hard to follow along with the chat and keep going with you guys.
And some people will talk about certain things, and you want to talk about it, but then it gets you off rails. So
plus, then you get the MGs and the Council fanboys in there, that are heckling you and trying to keep a straight face from some of the jokes and side comments that are going on. And
Thank you, Toxin. I appreciate you, Brad. I appreciate you. We are watching your comments, guys. We appreciate y'all very much so. Well, guys, that was the topic that I wanted to talk about. What do you, anything you want to close off with, guys?
No, I think that was a good topic for sure.
So, I mean, recently they had ports come in, shipments of what? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and more Star Wars?
Yeah, you know, I think you follow that a little bit more than I do. I don't know. I need to get into like the software that you figure out those, you know, the websites and all that. But so that's
are you talking console ports or are you talking shipment ports?
No, shipment ports. They just recently had more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles come in and Star Wars.
Talking about boat ports.
Yeah.
Cargo loads.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why would they come? Why would I feel like that you can get I feel like you can get a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anywhere, right? Why do they need more?
I don't think so. Can you get them?
You can get them third party, you know, off of resellers, but nothing.
That one's been gone for a while.
It's been gone for a while.
Yeah,
but could it also have? I don't
TNT
know. They couldn't tamper with that kind of stuff. Like, you know, in order to hide what it really is. I don't know. We'll probably find out on the 25th.
Have we had TMT cab come out besides the shark fin? Has there been a?
We had the Turtles in Time one.
Yeah,
Turtles in Time one updated.
That's what I was saying. Turtles in Time. I think you can still get those through all.
Yeah, you can still get those. Yeah.
So.
Not for $6.99. Heck no.
And what was the other one you said came in? TMT and
original Star Wars.
Original Star Wars. Well, that makes sense. Star Wars would sell. So I don't think that there's very many retailers out there that still have it.
So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
They just had a shipment come in a month or two ago. Those, right?
Yeah. It was a new run. Yep.
And then now another shipment of it like 2 weeks ago. So I don't know.
BC says we need to do a Qbert party cage. 3/4 won't be worth the manufacturing cost, but party cage would sell both new and old customers. So yeah, I agree with you, BCB.
Be nice if they're listening.
You know, if they did a party cage and did 4,000 units, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we appreciate you watching. We've been on for a little more than an hour, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your Tuesday. Want to thank GI Joel for coming in to cover for Multicade Matt. What we do on this show, if anybody's out, we usually ask the host to bring somebody that they wanted to bring in, and Matt really wanted GI Joel to come on. So appreciate you taking time out of your busy night, man. We appreciate you because you're an excellent modder, man. You're the modding side that Multicade Matt wanted.
I was really hoping to be able to show off some of my Sinden light gun build that he's been helping me out with, but unfortunately the post office didn't want that happening today.
Oh man. Well, Chaotic, thank you for always letting me host and be part of the show. I appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to a great week. Multicade Matt will be back next week, and we may have a guest on, just depending on how the week goes. So. Don't know if Arcade Anonymous, Dan, if you're still in the chat, let us know if we're doing Arcades Anonymous tomorrow. I know some things were going on, so put a chat, let us know, and hopefully we'll see everybody. If you're not part of the Arcades Anonymous Discord, please join. Really great content
fun
creators
stuff over there.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. Have a lot of fun over there. We show off a lot of things and talk all through the day. So we appreciate all of you. Guys, it's been a blast. Hope to see y'all next week. And as always, y'all have a wonderful rest of your week.